Hey everybody, welcome to Money Matters. This week, we have a huge topic, right, Marshall?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
We sure do. It's all about women and wealth and that ominous gap that we hear about all the time. And before we jump in, those of you watching right now, do us a favor. Go ahead and hit subscribe right now because that helps us to achieve our goals with getting these podcast shows out so that we can help others. So if you could stop right now and go ahead and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. But without further ado, let's talk, Marshall, about women and wealth and that wealth gap.
Yep.
Is the wealth gap that we hear about for women, is that really about income or is something else driving that?
Yeah, there's a lot of things driving that, right? And it's easy to blame. I love to blame. Don't you love to blame somebody?
No, I just want solutions.
No, I love blaming. It's not my fault.
Blamer.
It's her fault.
Oh my gosh.
But this is a important topic, and you might get me in trouble. What if I say the wrong thing in part of this?
Well, we'll get over it as long as it's coming from a good place and you're helping people. That's all that matters, Marshall.
We care if I say something, right?
We care if you say something that's going to be useful, helpful, and help us as women to close that gap.
Yeah, so income gap and success financially, right? So let me ask you a simple question. So who's going to be more successful in retirement? Someone has a high income or someone has a moderate to low income? Who's going to be more successful?
Okay, I actually think I know the answer to that. Okay. I know what you want me to say. You probably want me to say the person who has the higher income, but I don't think so.
That's
because I know that you've had too many clients that do not make these humongous six-figure incomes, and they're doing amazing. And it all has to do with behavior because they started putting it away and investing and doing all the good stuff they're supposed to do.
There you go. Podcast done. We're done. Okay. So, but you throw in the gender roles and all that, right?
Right.
They're what do they call it? The baby penalty, right? Females have the babies, and it slows their income down because they do the most important thing in the world. They have babies.
That's right.
Right? So yeah, so if you look statistically at income over lifetimes of males and females,
right?
Especially females that have babies, they take that time away, but they do the most important thing. It's more important than the money.
Well, I agree with that, but at the same time, they're basically penalized for taking time off to raise humanity.
That's not the point. My point is that it's not about the income over your lifetime. Back to that point. We already made that point. It's not about the income over your lifetime. It's about how much you're able to save out of the income you receive.
Right. But if you are taking time off and you're not receiving anything, then how can you save anything when all you have is nothing? Ooh, profound.
You're good with math. You're good.
I am.
You can do that.
If it has zero.
So yes.
Okay, so I know what you're trying to say. If you're in a good habit of saving and investing before you take time to do this amazing thing, which is raising children and hope for humanity, then you, in theory, should be doing just great when you return to the workforce or not, or whatnot. Maybe if you invest really well, you never have to if you don't want to. But what are the patterns that are actually causing women to fall behind financially?
A lot of it has to do with just the investing strategy and mindset and education, right? And it's not that education is available to everyone. There's this thing called the internet. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. I love it. For lifelong learners like me, it's like,
I know. And so, it's a matter of, number one, educating yourself and taking the time to discipline and go look at the skills necessary for budgeting and investing and that kind of thing. And then, of course, like I've always said, find an advisor that's willing to teach the heart of a teacher that will help. Because, what I tell my clients is over time, they're not going to necessarily know what I know, but they're going to learn more year by year as they see things happening in the account.
Right.
So education's part of it. And then, honestly, it's sometimes being the right level of being aggressive, right? So I don't, not to be too, sometimes sense. Men are more aggressive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sometimes. And actually, to your point, a lot of times when women want to be more aggressive, they are judged poorly for doing that. I was just listening to another podcast earlier, and that was referring to that as well. And a lot of women, for example, will not ask for a raise. Men will go in and ask for a raise, but women are reticent to do so, even though they're hired to do a certain job, and now they're doing even more than that job, and they are reticent to go in and ask for a raise. So, Marshall, I'm putting you on the spot. I want a raise. So, look at me.
Woo! Exactly. Aggression sometimes is kind of a bad thing, right? But there's certain areas in your mindset about investing. It's an education issue, because understanding what it means to be aggressive as an investor.
Right.
It's not how you feel about it. It's about understanding what it means to be aggressive.
I so agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. And so for those of you watching, if you are hung up on that word aggressive, like aggressive investing or being aggressive or whatever, get that word out of your vocabulary. Substitute it with assertive. Assertive investing. Does that feel better? If that feels better, then you do you. Just do it. Just do it.
I love it. Yes.
Be assertive. So when it comes to that topic in particular, there's a lot of hesitation, and we've done podcasts on this about overthinking, investing, and all that kind of stuff. And when people tend to hesitate, or waiting until I feel ready, what is that actually costing someone? Can you remind our viewers and listeners about that?
Yeah, so it's costing them everything to hesitate, right? But the word that you used in there was feeling.
Oh yeah,
how you're feeling.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You got, everybody knows that if you want to be fit, you don't get up in the morning and go out and walk and exercise if you feel like it. Right? You go out and do it. And then as you're in it, you start to realize, oh my gosh, this feels good, right?
You use the F word.
Feels good. It feels good, but I started when it didn't necessarily feel good. So number one is realizing that starting early isn't about feeling and waiting till it feels right, because it may never feel right.
Yeah.
Because number one, you're afraid. So much fear around money.
Sure.
Right? Losing it. People hate to lose money. They love to gain money, but they really hate to lose money, right?
Yes.
And so getting past that and educating yourself so that you understand, I need to do this, to the level I'm comfortable, but also not the way I think about it. Just get it set up and working, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is hard, though, to get past that feel of the loss of money, even though rationally it will turn around, or turn around and come back. When there's a down, there's usually an upturn. But it hurts, especially when people work so hard for that money that they have invested. I think it's a mindset until they really look at the bigger picture of, okay, what did I really lose? How much did I really lose? And how much do I stand to gain by not getting freaked out? There's another F word.
So much about mindset. And we've said this before in the podcast, but I'm going to call it. It says, Marshall, I have lost $5,000 this month. I have lost.
Yeah.
And I think about that. Did you lost it? Where did it go? Right?
Where did it go?
the market went down, but you still own the same number of shares.
Yes.
Right. So that's the first mindset. You didn't lose anything. The value went down a bit. Values go up and down.
Yes.
Value goes up and down. That's the first thing. The other thing to realize is when the market's down, it's a sale. It's on sale. Do you like to buy stuff on sale? You don't like more. You don't like to shop.
I'm not a big shopper, but boy, let me tell you, if I'm pretty sure that a stock is dropping and I can pick that up for a bargain and then it's going to shoot back up, heck yeah, I'm down with buying that. I'm shopping hard on that.
I mean, for you, it's like a bargain real estate, right? If you find a bargain, right? So when you look at the market going up and down, when it's down, that's a bargain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Anyway, so
and it takes time, even with, like, I love your analogy because, for example, if you buy real estate, you get this really great deal. Maybe it's a fixer. You know, that's what's in my mind. I like to buy fixers. And it's going to take some time, and I might lose a little bit of money out of my pocket to fix it up. But my ROI is probably going to be amazing for investing in that property, and then I'm going to make money.
Right.
So if you could think of it that way, it helps to soften the feel.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't freak out.
Yeah, exactly.
But you please don't hesitate, because some of the things you're missing out on is your money compounding. Time is a huge asset. The sooner the better. It's not too late, but the sooner the better. You know, you have time, but not as much as if you would have started yesterday. So get moving on that. And definitely, you know, there's a lot of emotions with that, but you just you have to try to wrap your brain around that. You know, one of the things that we have put together that really helps a lot of people to wrap their brains around that is we have a wealth accelerator checklist. And we call it the 15-minute checklist, but I don't think it takes anybody 15 minutes. It takes them a few minutes to glance over it and see how they're doing with their wealth and if they're on track and whatnot. And usually in a few minutes, they're able to say, oh yeah, I'm doing great. Or, oh, I need to talk to Marshall about this and that. Exactly. So just a little note, we can help you out with that.
You know, so much of what we do is about being organized.
Absolutely.
Knowing where accounts are. A lot of times people don't know where their money is and they work so hard for it. Just being organized, having it organized. I love organization.
Oh yeah.
And then clarity on what it's doing, how it's investing. If you're not sure how to do that, that's where we can help you figure that out. Get it on track.
Oh yeah.
Right? All these things.
That checklist helps with that.
Yeah,
I think that's the feedback we get all the time, and it's free. Just go to the link in the description. You can download it. It's there to help. So just clarity, no pressure, no sales, just clarity. So Marshall, what risks do women need to be more prepared for?
Yeah, great question.
There's a reason there's a gap.
Yeah, well, the income gap is one thing, but the other risk, though, you know, and I guess it does play into how much you save and the income you put away, but it's also women live longer than men. So they have that issue of making sure their money lasts longer than they do, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to understand that, right? And, you know, a lot of times I talk to couples in their 60s and, you know, they don't realize that one of them statistically, one of them will live into their 90s.
Oh, probably easily anymore now.
Usually the female. Okay. Right. And so that's 30, a lot of times 30 years of making sure your money lasts. And so that's why running these plans and projections and understanding how much you're taking out and how much it's growing is so much part of the overall plan. The other thing too is, you know, any couple, anytime I meet with a couple, one person is more of a lead with the finances than the other.
Sure.
Right?
I see that a lot.
So sometimes it's the female, but a lot of times it's the male. Right? And so it's so important to start to understand your financial situation so that if you do lose a spouse, you still know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a real problem. Of course, losing the spouse. Yeah, that's a real problem. But to your point, not knowing about your finances, that's a real problem. So if you are not, I just really think it's important to have a partnership on the finances. Maybe somebody's still more like the 60% person, the other's 40. You need to know about your finances. You need to know what you have, where it is, how to access that.
That's right.
And you need to have input. It's a partnership. You need to have that input. That's really important. And a couple of other risks that can come about, quite frankly, divorce. And I have friends who have been rocked because they did not know all their finances, and they got blindsided with a divorce. And I'm not talking just one person. I know a few people that I can think of right now off the top of my head that I've known over the years that that really rocked them. And then, like you said, loss of a spouse.
Right.
That's hard. If you don't know about those finances, it's really, that becomes like being stuck in an escape room and you can't get out because you're trying to figure out where everything is, and you may not ever know what all is there. It's important. Marshall, I'm so glad you mentioned that.
And I always encourage people to build a relationship with a financial advisor when you're young and you're able to understand what's going on. I'll shout out to my wonderful wife, Carolyn. This is one thing she's drilled into me, and this is what she says. Here it is. It's all about relationships.
Oh yeah.
It's all about relationships.
Smart.
So you think about a relationship with a financial advisor, and when this happens, if you do lose a spouse, you have somebody to help you work through that stuff. Because what breaks my heart is when if I meet an older person that's lost a spouse and they're coming to me to try to figure out, can I trust this guy?
Right.
I don't know this guy. I don't know him. Right. And so building that relationship, because it's all about relationships.
Absolutely.
Right. And so that you know that. And so for females, right.
Right.
Especially build those relationships with people you know and trust, so that they can help you through these periods.
I agree. That is really important. I remember a situation with one of our clients whose spouse passed away. I think this was last year. Yeah, it was. I think it was last year. And she had it's a lot. It's a lot. And I remember her reaching out to you, and I think it was also her son was reaching out, and they're like, okay, how do we access this? And because she didn't know.
That's right.
She didn't quite know. And even though Marshall's like, you all need to be talking about this. You need to know. But because she did have a relationship with Marshall, he was able to actually help get her squared away, and was able to help her in the timely fashion that it takes. Okay. So here's a spoiler alert. Your spouse dies. It's not like you get to access, you can't access that money just like right then and there. There's a process.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They think that they can just take that money right then and there. It's a process. So, boy, we could do a whole podcast on just that.
Yes, we could.
Woo! It's heart-wrenching, but you're so compassionate with our clients and you help them through that. And that's because you listen to your wife and you build relationships. So good job, Caroline.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what actually is, what actually closes the wealth gap? What actually closes the wealth gap, and what works for long term? So let's say people are like, woo, I need to get moving on this now so that I am set up for the long term. What works long term?
Well, having a plan, right, works. Having a strategy in place. And then finding advisors that will help. Starting early helps. being consistent in the way you review. One of the key questions I always ask people is, how often do you look at your accounts, right? Is what I'm assessing and I'm coaching folks on. Some people look too often, like every day. That's too frequent, once a week, maybe once a month.
I agree.
But if they've never looked, that's a problem as well. So finding the right balance of reviewing what's going on and having an understanding. And this is something, if you review on a consistent basis, you're going to learn. And then over time, you're going to have questions as things happen. So closing the gap is really just back to the fundamentals of being consistent, educating yourself, finding the advisors and people you trust, building those relationships, and then participate, get involved. It's not about perfection. And, there's no dumb questions, right? I've got a bad joke about that, but there's no.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I'm not going to say it.
Don't judge me, people, for his
point.
joke.
That's my point.
Oh, gosh.
We're not going to judge you based on we're going to help you, right? We're not going to judge you.
I thought you had a crazy joke about dumb questions. I was like, oh no.
I want people to not be afraid. The point is, don't be afraid to ask us, and we're going to help you.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. Of course. I agree. But what should people do this week? Because I want people to be inspired right now, this week, to get moving. So if there is just one thing or two things that they could do to start closing their gap, what are some things that they should do right now this week?
Yeah, know their numbers. Know the numbers.
Yes.
It's not what you feel, it's what you know. So what I ask people is, how much are you saving out of your take home? All right. Yeah. So number one, know the dollar amount.
Sure.
Right. On a weekly or monthly or on a monthly basis. Right.
Yeah.
And then to get really fancy, know the percentage.
Ooh, right. That is fancy.
Take what you're saving versus what your take home is and figure out what that number is. Yeah. So anytime I'm talking to a client, I'm assessing if they know that number.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because if the people that know that number actually listen, they're doing better.
Well, of course they are.
They're doing better because they know what that number is.
Well, yeah, because you've always said get investing, even if you start small.
That's right.
So of course they're doing better. They're doing better than if they're sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I would say. Just take your payroll statement out, figure out what that number is, and then figure that out. And then once you know what the number is, to say, okay, can I go to a bigger number?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
What can I get rid of this month? Maybe it's an extra coffee at my favorite coffee place.
Right.
Once a week, and invest that instead, and then challenge yourself the next month. What else could I get rid of and invest that money instead? And before you know it, you've got money and it's compounding versus no money
right.
and debt.
So this is just becoming aware, a conscious, adulting, right? A lot of young people, I say, time to be an adulting. To figure these things out. And it's exciting once you know those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
You know what happens when you know those numbers?
Yeah, it's power. It's financial power. Absolutely. And it helps you to achieve your goal of financial independence sooner. Because remember, retirement, people, is not an age. It's a number. It's not an age. There's people out there who retire very, very, very early, and there's some people out there who never can afford to retire.
That's right.
Ever.
That's right.
It's a number, not an age. So, just to recap, get a plan, know your numbers, and start investing, even if it's small. Those are the three things that people should do this week to get a move on. Well,
and it's about relationships.
Sure.
Build a relationship with someone you trust that knows how to help you figure out those numbers and get it invested.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind you, download that free wealth accelerator checklist. So We call it the accelerator checklist because when you go through it and you see how your finances are doing, you can get yourself all reorganized so that you are accelerating your wealth. That's why we call it that. So download it today. Marshall, thank you so much for this great insight. I think it's going to be wonderful for not only women to help them close their wealth gap, but also for the men who care about them. I'm sure there's men out there watching this that are learning a thing or two as well. So we're here to help. So thanks, everybody, and be sure to subscribe today.
All right. Thanks, Mickie. Thanks so much.
You bet. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time on Money Matters.